On this episode of Ghost Hunters International, the team investigates the apparitions of Costa Rica's Duran Sanatorium.
I saw something already.
In that room there?
In that window, yeah.
Is anyone in here? Well, nobody else is up here.
I look at the meter like something passed by that walked in here.
A supernatural plea shakes Brandy to her core.
What was that?
I thought I heard a voice.
Then, GHI heads to Jamaica to investigate one of the world's most notorious paranormal hotspots.
Welcome to Rose Hall Great House.
Can Paul capture the legendary White Witch, or will her voodoo curse haunt the team forever?
What the hell was that? It looks like a face.
So we're approaching Cartago, Costa Rica, and Brandy is going to give us the details on what exactly we're facing.
Hey, we are headed to Carlos Duran Sanatorium. Now, the building was built by Dr. Carlos Duran in 1915 on the side of the Irazu volcano. Dr. Duran was, at the time, the leading tuberculosis doctor in the country, and he built the hospital for those suffering from tuberculosis as well as leprosy. Now, the building complex has been used for numerous things, the hospital as well as an insane asylum, where it's believed that the insane were mistreated and underwent inhumane torture. And after that, it was used as an orphanage as well as a maximum and minimum security prison. The reported claims at this location, lots of different apparitions all over the grounds have been seen by numerous people. So we have a lot of stuff to really look for tonight.
All right, well, this thing is a monster. Wow.
They're gone. It's huge.
Hi,
Marty,
guys.
how are you? Rob, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Barry and Paul,
Hi, nice to meet you, Marty. Welcome to the Dr. Carlos Duran Sanatorium,
thank you very much.
and thank you for coming. I decided to call GHI because there's something in the sanatorium that I believe is like haunted. When you come inside, you feel different. It's like a different environment. So I really want to know what is going on in here.
Could you take us around and show us exactly where everything's happened?
Sure.
Okay, we'll follow you.
Okay, thanks. Right here we have the laboratory. And in that part over there was the activity of the old lady. She was like with white hair, curly. A photographer came to the sanatorium to take some pictures, but outside. And he started yelling like to the old lady that was in the window, like, hey, can I go inside? But she didn't react, and he take a picture. So the photographer came inside, and there's no lady here, there's nobody in here. He started to search the picture. The silhouette was the only thing that was in the picture.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do with that.
Okay. The church is now used like a laundry. Here was some shadows and all that. And the people from the outside see shadows in the windows. This is closed to the public.
Okay.
So they just saw it from the outside. So we don't know exactly what's going on here, like inside.
Okay. All right, Barry, yeah, I hope you have extra batteries for your camera tonight, because a lot of pictures to be taken. Okay.
So guys, we're gonna go to the children's hospital. And in this building is a lot of paranormal activity. Here in the second floor, what appears is shadows, but belong to children.
And what are they doing here? What are these shadows,
Rooms.
masses doing? They're just going from room to room?
Yeah. Well, right here we have the balcony. That girl appears right here in the middle.
A los niños los ve.
I was standing on the ground, and when I looked up, I saw a little girl playing on the second floor balcony. When I walked up there was nobody there.
Right here is the director house, Dr. Carlos Duran. In this part over here in the grass, a guy appeared in here, and he sit next to a girl, but he didn't talk, he didn't react, anything. None of her friends saw the guy, only she. So you're gonna go to see the house?
Absolutely.
We can go to see the roof where the child appeared.
All right.
Well, the girl appeared right here, and she's just like looking the view and all that. People came here and they see her, but they come up and the girl here disappear. When the people go down, she appears at the beginning of the stair.
So she appears here as well as the
yeah.
bottom of the stairs.
Right here is where the girl appeared. I was like sitting in the grass and I just hear some screams and I just run to the hospital and never came back until now. Well, guys, good luck and I hope you find some answers. That would be cool.
This is where a lot of people passed away under very unfortunate circumstances. Tuberculosis, prison, all the things that you kind of expect the possibility of a haunting.
Paul,
Yes.
were you just over in that room?
No. I've been here the whole time.
I saw something already.
In that room there?
In that window, yeah.
Okay, let me
The
go
very
ahead.
middle window.
Is anyone in here? This room here?
It was right there, and then it walked to the window.
Well, nobody else is up here.
He went into the room, and he said that there was no one in the room. So what that was, we're not really sure.
Just checking these angles. Camera number 1 is up on the balcony where the reports of this child is said to appear. Camera number 2, 3, and 4 are in the corridors monitoring any movement that should appear.
Perfect. Get the lights out. We're ready to rock.
Let's head on up.
Ashley and I headed up to the second floor of the Women and Children's Hospital, where they have reports of children's shadows moving from room to room. EVP session.
Rob and Ashley.
EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon. This is a situation in which we record ourselves asking questions and then go back and listen to the tape to see if any voices that we didn't hear at the time show up on the recording.
Hola, niñas. Mi nombre es Rob. Y mi amiga allá es Ashley. ¿Dónde están mis amigas? Ven aquí, por favor. The EMF meter. Can you make the numbers go up? Get very close.
Would any of you like to come out and talk to us?
Hang on a second.
Did you see something in there?
Sounded like someone rocked back and forth on the floor here. Sounded like someone rocked back and forth on the floor here. Well, Ashley and I were investigating the second floor of the hospital. I heard what sounded like someone like shifting their weight on the wood. You can hear it kind of move back and forth. It seems pretty quiet now. All right. Want to see something weird, though?
Yeah.
We left the hallway, look at the meter. It's on 1 now. It just blinked to 2 and went, now it's gone. Like something passed by. So, it walked in here. Is it true? Are you in this room? As we go to leave, one of the EMF meters went to 1, to 2, went past it, back down to 1, then back down to 0. Now this is with Ashley and myself far away. Are you in this room? Where are you? ¿Dónde está?
If there is anybody in here, could you show yourself to me?
All right, let's pack it up. At this point, it's way too early to say that this thing is paranormal. EVP session, and so before we take any huge jump and call something paranormal, you go back, you go through all that. But it's certainly an interesting part of the evening.
This building was the home of Carlos Duran. His little girl contracted TB, and she ended up dying So they see a little girl peeking over on the rooftop wearing a white dress.
It's probably to see if Papa comes home.
Okay, little girl. EVP session. Joe and Brandy, were you the daughter of Senor Carlos Duran? If you understand, touch the box.
We need you to talk with us. We need you to tell us your story.
If you're the daughter of Carlos Duran, can you... Did you hear that?
What?
It was like a pop sound by the recorder. At one point during the EVP session, I heard what sounded like a pop or a click, something tapping maybe the recorder. It sounded like if you were to flick with your fingernail, like the recorder, or like a pop kind of sound.
Little girl, maybe she's touching it.
I saw it register it. The EMF didn't go off. It was really strange. Can you please do that again, but louder?
It's okay. It's okay for you to touch it. It's okay to be curious. You can come up to us.
Senorita, is something keeping you here? Hopefully they gave us a name.
Paul and I were investigating the church. There were reports of shadows in the church here. We decided to take the opportunity to take some shots with remote control of the food spectrum.
Barry, what if obviously they use this like a laundry room now, okay? What if there's a window open at the side? What if it's actually just blowing some laundry across and someone who doesn't know that's being used as a laundry room, they see this movement in the window? I mean, could that be what they were seeing?
Possible.
Barry went up to actually move some clothes in the window. Immediately, I understood exactly what was going on. If there's a window open and there's a breeze, the movement of the clothing may be enough for somebody to think that they maybe saw someone.
Joe and I headed into the administration building. The main claim coming out of this area is a woman in blue has been seen and then apparently just vanishes. EVP session, Brandy and Joe in the administration building. Buenas noches.
Senorita, could you please come out? People say they've seen you. Could you let us see you?
We're only here to communicate with you. Are you a patient here? Did you hear that?
What was that?
I thought I heard a voice. Hola? We moved throughout the administration building.
It's okay if you're curious. It's okay for you to follow us. What was that? That almost sounded like a footstep.
Yeah, it did. I want to see this woman in blue. Oh. It's kind of disturbing, huh?
And lots of weird drawings on the wall. Oh, it's giving the chills.
I think we've covered this building. EVP session, administration building, and...
Brandy and I scoured the administration building. A couple of odd noises here and there. Who knows? We might capture something on the equipment. We'll have to be diligent and check that out.
Paul and I came up to the director's house outside. We started taking some shots onto the area in front to investigate this figure that was reported before.
I'll take some pictures of the stairs.
Okay.
From the tour, we learned that there are 2 apparitions within this particular building that have been reported. Both are actually of a little girl. It's believed that it's the same little girl. One's at the top of the stairs outside, and one's actually at the bottom of the stairs outside. Let's see what we can do here. Tonight I'm using an experimental tool called the full spectrum illuminator. Full spectrum illumination is trying to illuminate the areas that we physically can't see with our human eye. This was developed based on the theory that spirits are actually present in different spectrums and hopefully capture something. We took a bunch of photographs, and obviously we're going to have to wait till we come back to analysis and go through those photos. Everything has to be done very methodically and very precise.
All right, we did it. Covered this place top to bottom. Let's get everyone back to Command Central and start packing it up. We know that visual evidence is some of the hardest to catch, but most compelling when you do. So we know that's what we were looking for, so if we got it, that would be tremendous.
Yeah. Going into the analysis now for Dr. Carlos Duran's Sanatorium. With this case being predominantly visual, the application of all the cameras was a very prudent gesture on our part, and I'm very excited about the audio, so we want to see if any evidence has appeared.
Hey, Joe? Director's house. When we were investigating?
Yes.
I got something really interesting.
Tell us why you're here.
Wow. It's something with an H.
Okay, I think I got that one.
Okay, what do you guys think it is?
I thought it said help.
Help?
Yeah.
I would tend to agree. I think that's a good keeper.
All right. Cool.
So let's continue on and see what's there.
Right.
Oh, well, hey guys. I have a photo taken outside the director's house at the bottom of the spiral stairs. The report there was an apparition of a little girl. I think I've got the little girl.
How you doing, Marty?
I'm doing well, thank you. What about you?
Oh, we're doing great. We have quite a bit to talk to you about today. You came in, you showed us where all the experiences have been happening, gave us a lot of the history of the location, which helped us set up our equipment and really try and get to the bottom of all the stories that we've been hearing. One of the things that we're looking for is EVPs.
EVPs are a series of questions that we ask, and within the recordings, sometimes there are answers from entities.
What we want to do is play this voice for you now and see if you can perhaps understand what it's saying. This is Brandy and Joe investigating the director's house.
Tell us why you're here.
He's saying something, but I don't understand what he's saying.
To us, it sounds like he's saying help.
He's talking like really, really, really low, and you can understand it's a whisper.
Barry used his full spectrum camera from dusk almost till dawn, looking for these apparitions, these ghosts that people see.
So these first set of photographs were taken outside the administration building. This is the first photograph, and the next shot after that, you can see something appears. The next shot, it's gone. So do you want to go back into that building?
No. I just stay here.
Now, what do you think when you see that?
It's weird. Maybe that's a little light of the soul.
Okay.
Just shaking a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Now, staying in the area of the director's house, Paul and I were wanting to get all of the photographs that we possibly could. Something appeared in the camera. It was the first shot.
Wow.
The shot taken immediately after. And it's gone. Now, you were saying to us that the front of the director's house, a meal had appeared.
Yeah.
We are seeing some evidence of that.
That scared me more than the other photograph.
Well, Marty, you remember when you and your friends came to the director's house, right?
What did they see when they got to the bottom of the stairs?
They saw a little child.
How would you like to see the child?
I'm gonna have nightmares for that.
Paul and Barry were out taking photographs by the director's house. They wanted to concentrate on the area where this little girl was seen.
Now, this picture was the first one. It's very, very hard for you to see. And we went through some processes to highlight it. And you can see something sitting on the steps.
Wow.
Next picture, and you can see it much clearer there.
You can see the hair, you can see her arms kind of around her knees, just kind of looking out.
Wow.
It's incredible for us to get the voices, the answers to these questions, but to get what appears to be the apparition of the little girl.
Can we close the picture?
I don't think there's anything here at this point to be scared of. All of the things we captured here, there was nothing angry, and the apparitions here seem to be curious about what we're doing here. They want to interact. You wanted to know once and for all, is the place haunted? Well, according to the evidence, and that's what we go by, yes, it's haunted.
Now I can talk with my friends and said, you were right. You were right.
Well, Marty, here's the thing. This investigation was tremendous for us, and we really want to thank you for bringing us in.
No, thank you for came.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
All right.
When I saw all the pictures, all the photographs, I was like, oh my gosh, it's real. I never expect to see the photograph of the girl or the silhouette of the man. I feel relief because now I know that it's not something about my mind. That's something that's real. It's something that happened. So I'm not crazy.
That's some of the best evidence we've ever gotten. We had something that so perfectly matched the description we were given.
Yeah, it was a real good tie-in for us.
As well as the photo you captured with the multiple figures walking through. That's what they're saying is going on there. The spirits are walking across this area. Well, they sure seem to be because we documented it. Gorgeous Montego Bay, Jamaica. Brandy's gonna fill us in on the case details, see what we got.
Hey everyone, we are headed to Rose Hall. Now, 2,000 slaves on nearly 6,000 acres were held and worked here under the ownership of Annie Palmer. Now, many people refer to Annie Palmer as the White Witch of Rose Hall. A local legend tells us that she was incredibly cruel and a very menacing individual. It's believed that at a very young age, Annie was taught voodoo by her Haitian nanny, and that she actually practiced those spells and rituals on some of the slaves that she had. And many people believe that Rose Hall is haunted by Annie Palmer.
Wow.
I've definitely been looking forward to checking out Rose Hall for years now, so it's definitely a good opportunity for us, you know, as a team to come in here and lead the first scientific investigation, really see what's going on here. A lot of folklore, a lot of legends. Let's go in and find out the facts. Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
Very nice to meet you, Rob.
Hi, Rob. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Welcome
Barry.
to Rose Hall Great House.
Thank you.
GHI is the first team that will come in and test the paranormal behavior that we have here, and we're very, very excited to see what the results will bring. George Ash was the original owner of this home. He started the construction in 1750. In 1780, he passed away. John Rose Palmer. He finished the construction of the Great House, hence the word Rose Hall. John married Annie Palmer. She moved in here with all of her voodoo witchcraft that she learned from her nanny. And she's the one who created the hauntings here because of the wickedry that she did throughout her years here. And it was only 11 years. And she was married to John for only 7 of those 11 years. She killed him with arsenic. We've had a lot of paranormal behavior in here. So I'd love to take you through the house and see what you guys can find inside.
Let's go take a look.
This is the dungeon. And this is an area where a lot of paranormal activities have taken place. This was the holding place for slaves that they couldn't control. So in many instances, this is where they were brutalized.
In the dungeon, I was around the bar there cleaning, and I saw a shadow walk through the door there, come inside, and I was so scared. So I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. I saw the shadow going around and around. And for that day, I was so frightened. Things that I experience, I see, I know it's haunted. So that's why I always wear my cross. Never leave this.
We've had guests who have come through the house and have sat at this bar, and the bottlers are going pling, 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 and there'd be nobody there.
Who do you believe is responsible for the activity down here?
I would venture to say that the spirits of the slaves that were abused down here are creating some energy that's causing the bottles to push against each other in that manner. We're gonna head upstairs. Now, this is Annie Palmer's room. Right here is the original furniture where she sat and devised all of her voodoo witchcraft.
I've read reports of people having anomalies show up in photographs of the bed.
Yes, this is where Annie Palmer was murdered by her slave lover, Taku. And she would stab violently. There was no hope of her ever coming back from those type of injuries. And there have been people, witnesses, who have seen Annie Palmer in that window over there. So she wanders through these rooms freely. And now we'll go into her sewing room. This mirror was when Annie Palmer was alive. This was one of the mirrors that were hung in her sewing room.
There have been so many stories and so many photographs. What we see in the mirrors are the shadow of a woman's face, usually in a top right corner in the photograph. We can't tell you if anything's an exact replica of her face, because when Annie Palmer was killed, they destroyed every portrait of her because they felt that her spirit could linger on in her portraits to come back and haunt them.
Rose Hall is known to be one of the most haunted locations on Earth because so many people have come in here and had experiences, from taking pictures of what appears to be full-bodied apparitions to moving objects to strange feelings. This has been going on for so long that it's really built up a reputation. So now is finally the chance for GHI to come in here, do a real investigation, see what's going on. Should be quite an evening. Let's get the lights out, let's go dark.
Okay.
Rose Hall is relatively quiet during the day, but once the sun goes down, the jungle really starts to come alive with noise. So one thing we got to be aware of is how this could potentially affect our investigation, both in terms of evidence and experiences.
This all used to be the dungeon. Wow, you can hear those like crickets and frogs and stuff outside.
Big time.
Joe and I headed down into the dungeon of Rose Hall. Some of the claims of activity include a dark shadow mask that looked like a human figure walking through the doors, as well as the liquor bottles moving, apparently, on their own as well. All right, this is Joe and Brandy in the dungeon of Rose Hall.
The bartender is Senior Shadow. He's seen you walk into this bar area. Were you killed in this dungeon? Is that why you haunt it?
Is it true that Annie was the White Witch?
Or was it like working for such a vicious plantation owner?
We need to know exactly what happened here. We need to know the truth. Whoa. That sounded like pant legs or something like...
Yeah, rubbing together, right? Like clothes shuffling.
We heard what sounded like very quick movement, but it sounded like material shuffling against each other. It sounded like a stride.
Could an animal have been in here and kind of, brushed up against this Because it kind of sounded like that a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we have a lot of camera coverage down here, so if something does happen, we'll know. I think it's time to wrap it up down here. We don't know what that was. Hopefully we caught it on audio and we can really pinpoint whether or not it was something paranormal. Let's get out of this
dungeon.
So if you start up on the top floor, I'll start on this floor. Yep. And we'll see what we find. Okay. Take it from there, Paul. Okay. No worries. Best of luck. You too. Barry and I are big on photography. A lot of the reports that have come into the Rose Hall are from people taking photographs. So what we essentially wanted to do is just have the two of us wandering around taking pictures and trying to see if we can find some evidence of the paranormal. Annie, are you in here? Respectfully, I ask that you please come forward. Allow me to take your photograph. Annie has said that you like to stand in front of your window and look over your domain. Will you stand there now for me, please? Maybe you're in your sewing room. Now, what the hell was that? That's interesting. Looks like a face.
When investigating the first floor, I walked through the library and noticed the smell of tobacco, so I conducted an EVP session.
I've come here to talk to the gentleman that stays in this room. You caught my attention with the smell of tobacco. Does that mean that you accept me here for the time being, and that you may be willing to answer my questions? Are you aware of Mrs. Palmer still allegedly haunting this house? Does she still stay here? I don't smell your tobacco anymore. Questions were asked against Annie Palmer. The moment that those were asked, the smell of tobacco backed away, so I offered apologies. Do you find that the questions about Mrs. Palmer offensive? Can I ask that you come forward one more time? Can I get one more sign from you? Move something. Who was that? I ask that you come forward. Can I get one more sign from you? Move something. Who was that? It sounded like something, a ball bouncing on the floor. Sir, what is your name? Sir, can I ask, did you die of natural causes? Thank you, sir, and I shall leave you for now. And it sounded as if a ball was dropped on the floor. It seemed to be a good indication that there was a response from spirit. We'll see what we have whenever we go back to analysis.
I'm actually going to set up in the sitting room for a while.
Okay.
For Annie. You hear that? It was like a voice behind me. Like a female voice. Ashley and I went to investigate in Annie Palmer's sewing room. Just as we were getting set up, I heard what seemed to be a voice behind me, like a female voice. EVP session, Ashley and Rob in the sewing room. Annie, we know that this mirror belonged to you. Is it of special significance?
Annie, can you show yourself to us in the mirror? Just prove to us that you're here in some way. Do anything you can. I just got a whiff of like a floral scented, like a perfume or something.
Really?
I know it's not me. As I was sitting down around the tea table, I got this whiff of like a floral scented perfume, and it just came and went. I don't think there's any. Would there be anything in here that would smell like that?
The windows are all shut.
We're asking for an Annie Palmer, so she possibly could have worn a floral, scented perfume. That could mean that a spirit of that person is in the room with you.
Annie, now that you're here, would you be willing to communicate with us?
We generally use the EMF detector to capture movement within the electromagnetic field range. One of the theories out there is that as a ghost manifests, it gives off a different electromagnetic field. We can then use our equipment to measure that change.
Okay, Annie, here we go. All the doors are shut. Two. Look at 2 blinking. You ready to communicate, Annie?
3.
Does it matter to you where we are in the room? Are you going to serve us some of the tea? If you're done communicating with us here tonight in this room, at least do us the honor, and we know that we're guests, of finding a way to say goodbye for now.
Annie, all you have to do is make that box on that stool light up.
I think maybe our guest has moved on to another area. And just as I sit down, the device starts blinking, 1, 2, 1, 2. As we look over at it, it jumps all the way up to 3 or 4, then down to nothing and doesn't move again. So it's possible that we might have had some company for tea. All right, let's get the lights on and meet back at Central Command. Rose Hall, with all the mystery, all the dark history, all the legends, what's the reality here? We've had some really good results, so it'll be interesting to see if something here was just waiting for an opportunity to have communication.
We're aware going into this analysis that some of the teams were having very strange things happen to them. Hopefully, we'll have caught some 1 or 2 of the spirits that are said to roam through Rose Hall.
Hey guys, I have caught some type of activity that might be messing with the bottles on the bar that supposedly move and stuff.
Yes.
Oh.
We have either a really big mouse or a rat.
Yeah. That's a good size rodent.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is.
Okay, good catch, Brandy. Good
Thanks.
catch. I'm glad that worked out.
Hey guys. As we know, the mirror is actually one of several pieces of Annie Palmer's actual belongings. So a lot of people like to concentrate taking their photographs in that mirror, and many have come back reporting seeing a face. Well, I have that face. Take a look at this.
Wow, that looks like a human face.
I am so excited to find out what happened here at Rose Hall Great House.
Well, we've got quite a bit to discuss with you. I think we have some interesting answers to some of the questions you posed to us.
During the course of the evening, I found myself in the library. There was an unusual smell of tobacco was coming back and forward. I found it very, very difficult to isolate where that was coming from.
Well, that's something they would have smoked in those days. I mean, tobacco was very popular, especially for the gentlemen, the wealthy men.
And Ashley was also up on the 2nd floor. She had just sat down in a chair, and there was an unusual smell of almost like perfume. But again, very, very hard to track down. And of course, there is no instrument that captures that particular type of phenomenon.
Well, part of that whole voodoo thing is a smell, and I know Jamaicans feel strongly on this, is that if an unusual smell passes them and there's no instance of where the smell could be coming from, they say, you know, there's obia on me, somebody's walking on my grave. So that's something that for us is a true sign that there is something a little bit different going on. But yeah, it's very interesting.
We have a number of pictures that you were kind enough to share with us of this strange reflection coming off the headboard. And we've managed to capture the same thing. We want to show you those photos now. If you take a look, several examples.
Was that from a camera?
It is.
It's a flash?
Correct.
It's the flash.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Off the shine of the wood, the sheen comes right back. And I think that that takes care of several of those.
Of the pictures that we do have, yes.
Obviously, there were some photographs of Annie's mirror that were coming to light as well. And if we take a picture here, then we start to see patterns that start to appear in the glass. Now, down here, it almost looks as if there's a face in the glass peeking out at us as well. It turns out that the mirror itself, its position, the way that where people are standing is causing these illusions in the glass itself.
I can see what you're saying. However, some of the pictures that we've seen, I mean, the image of someone in there is a little bit clearer than the pictures you took.
You know what? Instead of just talking about it, you have that other photo. Why don't we go up, we take a look at it so we can show you exactly what we're talking about. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now this photo, people believe you can see what they believe is the face looking into the mirror of Annie Palmer. However, if you look, they took the shot from over here, shooting from the hip. They took the picture like this. It's reflecting, and you can see it in the mirror, that vase right there.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah. So that's what we believe from what we've seen with the pictures. A lot of people coming in, they're not using the tripod, they're hitting the flash on that mirror, and there's Annie Palmer.
Right there.
Yeah. Shall we head back down?
Sure.
All right.
Now, there is one other piece that we wanted to show you, and this was captured in the dungeon area. The reports were of some of the bottles had shifted on the bar. If you just watch the back bottles.
It's a rat. Well, thank you for finding that. That's something we never thought of before.
Good. We did EVP work where we're looking for these voices that you don't hear at the time. Unfortunately, nothing was picked up. And we had personal experiences, but unfortunately, when these smells were encountered, there was very little to corroborate. That leaves us where we have to say, from our investigation, we were not able to find anything that we could deem paranormal. But does that mean it never happened? No, of course not.
Well, it's great to have experts like yourselves here explaining some of the phenomena that we're experiencing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Shall we head out?
Thank you.
In some instances, they have found some answers for us. But in another area, we still believe that Annie Palmer lives on here.
Kathy is a firm believer that this place is haunted and really active. And yet when we came in, gave her the explanations that we did, she was fine.
Of course, as she said, she's still going to believe that Rose Hall is haunted. And that's fair enough. Well, I don't know about you, Rob, but I am definitely ready for home.
I got a long 1-hour flight back to Florida that I'm looking forward to.